just about the aesthetics. It is about always about conformance to requirements. That is meeting the blueprint specs or the drawing specs, over grades and safety regulations. Second one is fitness for use, that the structure what you are building that stands, and the equipment what you are manufacturing that runs. And third one, and the most important one, is customer satisfaction. That is developing the trust with stakeholders and clients. And in that, safety and efficiency are always go hand in hand. Now, with respect to the standard, everyone knows that the ISO standard stands for ISO 9001 2015. It states that it is an international standard that specifies requirements for quality management system. And as per the standard, the definition says the organizations use the standard to demonstrate the ability to consistently provide products and services that meet customer and regulatory requirements. So the standard gives us the requirements what must be met to get us through our goals and to get more of customer satisfaction. Now, this standard stands on seven quality principles. The first one is customer focus, second one is improvement, third one is leadership, fourth one is evidence-based decision making, fifth one is engagement of people, sixth relationship management, and seventh process approach. If you can just if you can just see the first letter of each name of each principle, a word forms to remember this: clipper, CLIEER, right? So, and every standard, this is standard talks about the process approach. When I say process approach, every process has some input, some activity, some output. Okay. So we just don't work. We manage the process. Every activity in construction or mining is a process that transforms input into outputs. So with an example, inputs may be raw materials like ore or cement, labor, machinery, blueprints, sometimes customer feedbacks or client feedbacks. And then the process is of excavation, crushing, pouring, welding. And the output, what we get out of this process is refined metal, completed foundation, or survey report. Okay. Next is the risk-based thinking. In ISO 9001 2015, what new they added was this risk-based thinking. They said that not only in your process you must use risk-based thinking, but also when you are deploying your process or you're managing your business with respect to quality management system, risk-based thinking is a must, requirement of the standard which we cannot just put away. Prevention over correction in ISO 9001 requires use to determine risks and opportunities. In our industry, this is the second nature because in mining and construction industry, risks are always there. Either it is a business risk, either it is a safety risk, right? Risk is if what some examples of risk is: what if the supply truck is late? What if the ground is unstable? What if the equipment breaks down? And mitigation is backup suppliers, soil testing, preventive maintenance schedules. This these risks also include governmental risks also. Like for example, we are facing the new risk of US tariff against India. So that will also play an important role in our businesses while we are tackling through our businesses. This QMS will help us to mitigate those risks. Now, this standard always say that you should use the PDCA cycle. It is nothing but, I just have it a pointer out so I'll be able to show you exactly how it looks. Just a second. Yeah. So here, plan, do, check, act. The standard requirements are also divided into plan, do, check, act steps. Plan is establish the objective and the processes, like for example, project scheduling. Two is implement the plan, check, monitor and measure the processes, and act, take actions to improve the performance. Performance of what? Performance of our processes. What we have laid down for the quality management system and for the business. Here also you can check here. One is the plan, set goals, identify opportunities, then actually do the work. Then check what we have done with respect to the targets what we have set. And with respect to the gaps identified, we must always correct and have a continual improvement plan. This cycle goes round and round every time. Now, when we look into the advantages of implementation, why do we do this? What is the return on investment? So, guys, here are the investment returns. Internal organizational benefits. First of all, standardization takes place. All your processes are standardized, all your works, all your activities are standardized. Then, knowledge retention. Whatever processes do we do, those are retained with respect to the records or respect to the knowledge centers or knowledge banks we built with respect to this. And third one is the operational control. Better operational controls we get, better management of supplies, better management of equipments, better management of timelines, project timelines. So these are the few benefits. And the external market benefits, global recognition, ISO 9001 2015 certified company gets better opportunities towards businesses. Global recognition is there. Tender qualification, many government and large corporate tenders require ISO certification. Now our governments also ask for if the supplier or the contender is ISO certified or not. So if you have the ISO certification, then you are in the first place. And third one is the client trust, proves reliability and commitment to the quality assurance what we are providing to with respect to our services or the products. Now moving forward, data, the cost of poor quality concept, which is basically cost of poor quality COPQ, which is in mining and construction industry, rework cost is very high. If some specification is got wrong, and with respect to that the building is built, to rework that again, it is a huge cost for the business. So this cost can be reduced down to a significant margin when you are ISO certified and ISO implemented company or the business we are running into. Okay, and the second one is the material waste. Material waste in mining and construction industry is also very high. So when you are planning with respect to quality management system, when you are following quality management system, these material wastes can also be considerably uh, got down, get down. This is nothing but the cost of poor quality. We can control it. Now, when it comes to the actual standard, when I say requirements, those requirements are divided into 10 clauses. These 10 clauses are high level structure, HLS, of ISO 9001 2015. High level structure means that every other standard other than ISO 9001 2015, they have to follow this 10 clauses high level structure only. Okay. So in that 10 clauses, first three clauses, one, two, three, these three clauses are only informative clauses. There is only information about the standard given. But the actual clause requirements or the standard requirements, what we have to implement, those are stated from clause number 4 onwards, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these seven clauses are divided into the PDCA cycle as we spoke about earlier. Let's see what those clauses are and what they mean. Yes, before we begin, please don't forget to put down your questions in the chat box. Okay. Now, when we look into the planning system, the PDCA plan, first P, that includes these three first clauses. One is the context, fourth, fifth is the leadership, and sixth is the planning. Context is we need to we need to document our context of the organization or the business, what we actually do, what are our external internal issues are, what are our stakeholders want, and what are their needs and expectations. This the standard requires the organization to document that. Okay, that gives us the broad spectrum that what our internal and external issues are, and Whatever stakeholders' needs and expectations are, that will be documented. The next clause is fifth clause, leadership. This clause all states about the top management. In short, the top management of the organization, what they have to do, what they have to do as the top management. What they have to do, they have to lay down the policy, lay down the quality policy. They lay down the roles and responsibilities and authorities, and they lay down how we are going to go about with our customer focus. Okay, and now, when coming to the sixth clause, which is planning, here we address all the risks and opportunities, and we also, as an organization, here also we need to um, measurize our objectives. We have to write down our objectives, what our goals are, what we need to achieve in the next financial year, what we need to achieve in the next 5 years. Those goals, those objectives, we need to document it down and with targets. So these objectives must be always smart. Smart is specific, measurable, achievable, recordable, and time bound. Okay. So, for example, here the one example is given of mining. Context includes environmental regulations and local community impact. If we are going to do a mining in some of the geographical area, so our context of the organization will be who are the stakeholders there who are going to get impacted by our mining. So those impact to be documented, and it has to be studied over what more we can do about it. Now, going to clause number 7, it is all about support. When we are planning something, we do need resources, we do need manpower, we do need documented control. Resources means people, infrastructure, environment for work, and monitoring those resources. Okay, so here the resources means man, machine, method, material, and environment. Okay, the four M's and the one E. And second one is competence. If you're hiring the people, if you're having the people in the organization to work with us, those should be competent enough to complete the work in time. Those should be competent enough to understand the requirements and do accordingly. So ensuring operators and engineers are trained and qualified. So there is a system of normally there is a system of having the training needs identified, then the calendar is made, trainings are given, trainings are imparted, their effectiveness is monitored, and then with respect to that, their competence is calculated. Okay, and based on that, their actual work is also monitored. When after the training, are they effectively doing their jobs or not? That is also a part of this competence. And third one is the documented info. That is control of the documents what we are having in our business. So example, if in a construction industry, the floor plan or the building plan, that is a document. Okay, and that has to be controlled very strictly, because if that is not controlled, then again the risk of getting non-specified or non-approved construction to go ahead with, which is very costly affair, right? So with respect to that, we should have, as an organization, as a quality management system, we should have a robust documented information control system with us. That's why it is approved signatures are there. That's why controlled documents are there. Approved documents are there. So that is what comes all into documented info. Okay, it also includes our processes, what we have documented down. Okay, so control of those. So there are four levels of documents. One is level one, which is called the quality manual, which states what the company or the organization is going to do with all the respective requirements given in the standard. Level two is the processes or the turtle diagrams, what we say, are the procedures where how we are actually going to do it. That is written down. And the third one is the work instructions or SOPs, what the people are supposed to use when they're actually doing their jobs, or they can refer to them with steps. And last one is the level four, which are all the records are getting generated during the job is going on. So basically, records of shift records, or maybe production records, or maybe your monthly records. Those are all the records which come into level number 4 document, which are all the records. It can be retained. Okay. And in mining and construction industry, the document retention is also an important part, that we need to determine that how much, for how much time we should retain these documents for records. So that should be determined. Sometimes regulatory functions or regulatory bodies have their own retention period that we need to follow, or else we can have our own 5 years, 6 years of retention, 4 years of retention, 10 years of retention, or maybe lifetime retention also. Okay. Now, moving forward is clause number 8. That is the do part, operation. Now we have gone through two ones of the PDCA. When I say P, we have done the planning. When I say we have done the planning, we have the resources, and we now do, and we added the second stage of do. Now here we have done the planning, we have the resources, and now we have to execute what we have planned. So this here it comes to be the operation. It says the do phase. There are sub clauses also. 8.1 operational planning, which defines the criteria for the product and services. 8.2, it is the reviewing of contracts and tender documents. And 8.3 is design and development, mine planning and structural design. If we are into the design of any of the equipment, then this 8.3 design and development clause is very much important. 8.2 gives us the review, where we are going to review our contracts, or when we are going to review our tender documents. That part comes into picture. Now, in that 8.8 clause, there is 8.4 clause, which says everything about external providers. See, in mining industry and construction industry, majorly in construction industry, everything cannot be done in-house. For example, producing cement, producing bricks, okay, producing maybe ready-made panels. For those, we have suppliers, right? So there should be control on those suppliers also, managing the supply chain. We are responsible for what we buy and who we hire. So here the selection, there must be a selection criteria for choosing the subcontractors or vendors or suppliers. There should be controls. There should be incoming inspection, incoming material inspection, steel, cement, explosive in case of mining, and their performance also has to be monitored, monitoring supply delivery and quality. These are the what I can say mandatory requirements of the standard, that if we are having suppliers, vendors, subcontractors, or sub suppliers, then these three important clauses have to be there. We need to have a criteria how to select. We need to have a criteria how to inspect when they deliver the material. We need to have a performance criteria how we are going to evaluate their performance. Okay, because if something goes wrong, we should be able to point it out, or we should be able to get through that where did the subcontractor go wrong. So for that, we need to have these three steps ready with us. Now, 8.5, this says about production or service provision. Actually, when we are doing the job, at that point of time, identification, tagging the material, ore batches, or testing samples, preservation of products like storing cement dry, keeping machinery maintained, and release, final inspection before handing over the project to the customer or the client. So here, what we see is what we actually do when the job is going on. So their identification of the products, identification of the product or the project is important. This is the what I can say mandatory requirement. Second is the preservation, that how we are going to preserve the product. Now, when we say product, it might be the final product, or it might be the product which is in the intermediate stage of the process. Say what they're saying here is storing the cement. When we receive the cement from the supplier, that should be stored in certain conditions. So those conditions should be met. So with respect to that, when we say that, that actually should happen like that. And when we say about the mining industry, the equipments, the machineries which are running, those should be maintained. Like there should be, for example, there should be preventive maintenance plan. There should be spares available. So that machinery maintenance should be there. And third one is the release. When I say final inspection before handing over the project in construction industry, that is called the handover. When we buy a flat or when we buy a space or when we buy office space, when it is getting delivered by the construction team to the client, they first do the handover inspection. Then only they give the handover document sign up to the client, right? That is what this release step is for, right? Ah, this 8.5 clause is that also tells us about if something goes wrong. Say, for example, the batch of cement mixing goes wrong. What to do about that batch, which is not with respect to the specification. What to do about it? That is the non-conformance product handling. That also should be there because uh, that that product which is made, which is not as per the spec or not as per the blueprint, what to do with that, that should also be documented, and we should actually do that, and that the records must be kept about that. And the root cause analysis of that why that batch or why that product was produced should be there. And based on the root causes identified, we should have a corrective action plan with us to avoid the recurrence of such non-conformities. Okay. Moving to the ninth clause, which is performance evaluation. This is the check, PDCA, that is the C, check. Here, the performance evaluation, what? Monitoring, tracking the KPIs or the objectives, what we say. Safety incidences, we had the target of zero. Where are we on that? Example, project timelines. We needed to complete one project in so and so. Say for example, in 90 days. So have we completed that project in 90 days or not? And budget variance. The budget is say x million dollars, and we are as of now achieved y million dollars. So is there a gap, or is it okay, or is it exceeded the expectations? That monitoring we are doing here. Now, this monitoring will be always with respect to the objectives and other targets, what we have said with respect to quality management system. This is nothing but the monitoring with respect to targets with the objectives. Okay. And there will be always some gaps, and those gaps should be identified, documented also, because this will become an input to the management review meeting, what we are going to see next. Okay. So in the next step, it is internal audit, checking our own work against the standard and our plans. Yes, ISO 9001 2015 says that there should be an internal audit. So the organization should have a few designated people who are trained for doing internal audit, certifiedly trained for doing internal audit with respect to standard requirements and the processes and the documentation what we have built on for the organization. We should we should be able to check against the documented requirements and the standard and what is actually going on. So this specific activity is called as doing an internal audit. This gives us three kinds of information. Output is three kinds of information. One is good observations, what we are doing really good. Second one are the opportunities for improvement. Yes, there can be some amount of improvements we can do in some areas of the processes. And third one are the non-conformities, which where we see that there is a gap between what is written down or what is documented and what is actually being done. There is a gap in between that. We have okay. So that comes as a input towards the next of our step, which is called management review. Here, the management review is typical. Top management is reviewing the system suitability and effectiveness. In this clause, they have given the input agenda towards the quality management system, and the data has to be presented to the top management with respect to that agenda, which includes the monitoring of KPIs, the action plans on the KPIs which where the targets are not met, and third one are the inputs from the internal audit. Fourth one are the inputs from our customers. Sixth one are the inputs from any other external audits that we have faced, the organization have faced. And with respect to quality management system, what we have developed in our organization, is it suitable and is it effective to take on all these challenges, all these non-conformities, all these observations? So here, top management chairs the meeting. They go through that review and they give us the input that here we are going to do some study, we are going to take some actions. So that has also to be documented with some target date and a responsible person who is actually going to do it, or that responsible team who is actually going to do it. And that has also to be tracked again in the next MRM. So normally MRM cycle will be once in a year or twice in a year. That depends on the organization, how they develop it. Also for internal audit, that will be again for once in a year or twice in a year. Standard doesn't say how many times you have to do the audit, but it says definitely that you have to do an audit. How much times and at which stage or which frequency, that we have to decide as an organization. Same is with respect to management review. But normally the best practice is to have internal audit twice in a year with a gap of 6 months, and management review at least once in a year. Okay. Here also, one of the input to management review is in clause number 6. We talked about the risks and action plans to address the risks and opportunities. That also needs to be presented, that whether any new opportunity or new risk is emerged during the time period or not, and what we are going to and what we as an organization are going to do about it. So that is the risk mitigation inputs we are taking from the management. Now, this is the 10th clause, which talks about improvement. This is nothing but when we say PDCA, so we have gone through the plan, we have gone through the do, we have gone through the check. Now, we understand that we do have some gaps. Okay, on that, what this clause says is we should have a documented action plan which is going to improve our process. Okay, so improvement. This is fixing and evolving more of our quality management system. It has three essential subclauses, which is non-conformity. Something went wrong, failed congruent test, equipment breakdown. So on that, we did some root cause analysis, and on the causes, we take the corrective action. Root cause analysis to prevent the recurrence. Okay. And the third one is continual improvement. Always looking for ways to optimize, even if nothing is broken. Even there will be some processes in the organization which are always doing good, but even if nothing is wrong, there is always means and ways to always improve that process furthermore. So we need to find those ways and document it and actually do it, actually implement it. So example here is, issue is repeated hydraulic failure in the excavators. The root cause is contaminated fuel storage. And what the action that they have stated is install filtration system on fuel tanks. Okay. So here what we did is, there was an issue, there was a non-conformity, and for that non-conformity there was a root cause identified, that contaminated fuel storage, and action was that install filtration system on the fuel tanks. Now, what the standard says is, it is always on the corrective action, but also look into the good practices, also look into actions which are going to evolve your current quality management system. Basically, few actions to be always on the systemic actions. The system what you have developed in your organization of quality management system, some point should be based on the improvement of that management system itself. So that is a good practice. That is how the evolution of quality management system will take place. Okay. Yes. Now, this is the interesting part. Actually, the practical examples we are going to see in mining and construction industry. Okay, because whatever we have seen, this was all the standard requirements part. Now, what I'm going to show you is how this standard requirement meets with our real world applications. How these one, two, three correlates with the each of the worlds. Okay, this is actually very interesting to see. So, first example is construction. Here the example is of concrete quality control. Context is high-rise foundation pouring. ISO 9001 application. So planning, which is clause number 6. Mixed design approval. So here the mixed design approval, how it is going to go, who it is going to do, from where it is going to do, how much time it will take. That approvals and all those things should come in the plan. Then how to control 8.4, like suppliers, inspecting ready mix trucks upon arrival. These trucks are going to come from our suppliers. So what kind of tests we are going to do at the incoming when these trucks are going to arrive at our location before they start pouring, there should be an inspection point. There should be an inspection check. Example that they have given is slump test. If that pouring mix passes that slump test, it is green to go. It will go directly to the site location where it has supposed to be get poured. Now, second one is if it doesn't pass the slump test, what to do against it? What actions we are going to take against it? That will come under control 8.4. Now, in records, like we said in resources, document control 7.5. Keep the cube test results for 50 years. Example, it is there because whatever foundation or the building or the or the structure what we are going to build, that is normally it is going to stand there, say for example 50 years. So whatever tests or the cube tests what we have done now, those reports, those online reports or handwritten records should be retained for at least 50 years. That is the requirement. Okay, so we should have the system, how we are going to store them, how we are going to retain them for so much long period of time. Are we going to convert them into soft copies? Are we going to convert them into PDF copies? So that should be documented and we should actually do it. And the result is structural integrity assured, legal liability reduced. This is how it goes ahead with the construction business. Now you will be able to see how the clause and the actual real world examples are now mixing and gelling together. Okay. Yes, there is someone who is raising a hand. If you can write down your question in the chat box, we can definitely have this at the end in the Q&A session. Okay. Now, example 2 is of mining with respect to predictive maintenance. Now here, context is critical core crusher is the equipment and ISO 9001 application in that. Okay, you can also have your question jotted down in the chat box. Okay, and yes, the risk is 6.1, like risk identification and risk address actions to address the risk 6.1, which comes under clause number PDCA, where it will come plan. In that, identifying crusher failure as a major production risk. So if we know that crusher failure is a major production risk, what are the actions what you're going to take to make that to mitigate that risk to a level where which is acceptable to us? Okay, example, we can have the spares of those machinery parts which are critical ones. We can have spare management system in place. We can have robust preventive maintenance procedures. We can have robust critical spares management. We can have robust, what I can say, daily maintenance management routines. So these activities will ensure, these activities will mitigate the risk where the crusher will fail. Okay, this is how the risk and the risk mitigation plan will work. Now, second one, when you come to the resources, 7.1, ensuring spare part availability. That is what it is said. Monitoring, 9.1, vibration analysis to predict the failure. Here, monitoring is a part where the machine is being monitored to give out with respect to the vibration analysis. It will predict the next failure when it will happen. So if we have that data with respect to the vibration analysis, we can we can well in advance plan the uh, shutdown, and at that point of time we can replace the spares and again start anew. This will this will avoid the future breakdowns in the machine, which is critical. And the result is unplanned downtimes reduced by 40%. Earlier, maybe it was 60% or 80%. Now it has reduced to 40%. Okay, this is how your standard requirements and the standard implementation helps you to get to your goals. Now, sustaining the system. Implementation is easy. See, any new quality management system implementing in the organization in the first is very easy, but to maintain is hard. How do we keep up with it? Because in the first year we will be able to implement all the system requirements in one go very smoothly. But in the next year, in the coming next years, how are we going to sustain that? Okay, so there should be always regular audits. Don't skip internal audits. They're a healthy check of the system, and these audits always to be done by either there is one unbiased rule that one process cannot be audited by the person who is controlling that. Someone else, other process owner should come to your process and then audit it. You cannot audit your own process, because your own process you cannot find any faults or find any gaps in between the standard requirements and the actual what is happening. Okay, so the audit should always happen. It doesn't have to be skipped, and it should be always unbiased audits. Next one is communication. Keep quality on the agenda of every toolbox talk and site meeting. Whenever there is a site meeting or there is a toolbox talk going on, make sure that one point of that toolbox talks is about quality. Quality about the product, quality about the process, quality about the people, quality about what we are doing. That one point should be always keep agenda. That should be always on the agenda. And third one is update the risks. Review the risk register wherever the project phase changes. Example, we have started the project in January 25. Assume that we have started the project in January 25. At that point of time, we had taken into consideration the risks which were present in January 2025 and before that. But during the actual what I can say uh, actual project phase where it was ongoing, suddenly there is a change with respect to the risks that US has implemented a 50% tariff on India. Example. So now this is something new. We don't know how it is going to affect us. So please update the risks. Whether if one of your in this project what we're talking as an example, there is one supplier which gives us a raw material, and that supplier is from US. How is he going to supply it to you? Or there is one customer that you're supplying to, that your product or the services you are providing it to the customer in US. How are you going to do that? So that risk came in between, say for example, in June 25. So what the standard says is, always in some periodic time there should be always check on the risk register whether any new risks are coming in, or whether new opportunities are coming in that we can fetch into. So any new risks are there, there should be a mitigation plan, or any opportunity is there, then there should be a plan how to achieve that, how to gain that also. Okay, these are the three important milestones to keep your quality management system in check. always. So here was as I said earlier, it is on the plan, do, check, act. See here, this is the plan your work what we did. Okay, then work your plan. Whatever you have work you have done, check that, check the results, and there will be some gaps. There will be always some gaps. Act on those gaps. That will give you act on the gaps. ISO 9001 2015 is not about just paperwork. It is about a disciplined approach to managing the risks and opportunities and quality of our projects. It will always give you good insights about your projects. It will always give you support while you're doing some risk analysis and how to mitigate it. Yes. Now we can go towards the question and answers. Thank you for your participation. Ruchika?
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And we have, thank you for the wonderful session. So we have certain questions related to the webinar which has been asked. First one is, what role does leadership play in ISO 9001 2015,
Hmm.
specifically if an individual user talks about career growth?
Specifically, if a user talks about career growth.
Yes.
Could you please once again repeat that?
So first one is, what role does the leadership play in ISO 9001, especially if a individual user is talking about career growth?
Okay. So, career growth means I must assume that you're looking this with respect to point of view when you are going to whether you are going to grow ahead in your career and where this leadership is going to help you, right?
Yes.
Is my understanding correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So answer to that is always when if you are in the leadership role and if you are in the leadership role, this ISO 9001 2015 clause number 5 and clause number 6 and clause number 9, these standard requirements are going to give you a boost where you will be able to drive the improvements, you will be able to drive the review, you will be able to set the quality objectives, you will be able to set the quality policies. That is definitely going to help you in your career.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next question is, how ISO can be used as a reference in the management quality in oil and gas, with respect to oil and gas?
Oil and gas, with respect to oil and gas, the most of the oil and gas companies are ISO 9001 certified, and more than that also. They are also certified for environment. They are also certified for occupational health and safety. So there is no guidance. They're actually using it. They're actually they're actually adhering to the quality management standard requirements.
Okay. So there's another question by Jimmy Misby, which
Mhm.
who's asking, kindly highlight use us on the upcoming changes on the current ISO 9215 to ISO now 9001 to 20 to 2026.
Okay, the major change what I have received is that it is related to the climate change, and more robust activities or requirements are going to come with respect to climate change, how we are how we are addressing in our quality management system, and that change is probably expected in 2026. Yes, correct, and maybe in the mid of the year or third quarter of the year maybe.
Safwan Obaid is asking, back to the performance monitoring. What about monitoring of indicators like the number of people we reach by time, about the DQA data quality assessment to ensure data quality criteria?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
am I audible?
could you please? Repeat. Yeah, could you please repeat once again?
So back to the performance monitoring. What about monitoring of indicators like the number of people we reach? Also about data quality assessment to ensure data quality criteria.
Okay. So, number of people reaching in time is how to monitor that, or how to do that is his question.
How to do that?
Okay, that has to be decided by the organization. How are they supposed to be monitoring that in first place? If the quality objective is that, then there should be, as I said, when we are setting the quality objectives, smart SMART. These things are to be kept in mind while setting or getting your objectives. First one is specific. It should be specific. Second one is it should be measurable. Okay. Third one is it should be achievable. R one is R is it should be retainable, and third one is it should be time specific. So whenever you are setting your objectives, the objective should be SMART, SMART. Then I think it is the first part of the question is there, gets addressed. Second part is again it comes to when we say about the quality objectives, there is a clause where the standard requirement says that we should have the plan how we are going to achieve it, who is going to achieve it, who is going to work on it, who will be going to accountable for it. There is a standard clause in 6.2.2, 6.2.1. So that says about this. Again, we have, as an organization, we have to set for the data management accuracy, how we are going to measure it, so that the organization has to decide how the monitoring system will be. Either it will be manual, or it will be software based, something like that.
Uh, John is asking, how can my organization impact by using the ISO standard? How will the organization be impacted by using the ISO standard?
Of course, the impact will be positive. First, as if you are leading the if you're leading the business, then you must definitely understand what are the good effects of this. That you will be getting a global recognition for having your ISO 9001 2015 system in place, because that is going to and this is not an overnight process. This takes time. Continual improvement and the system sustenance takes time. It doesn't come in just 1 year or 2 years. The system build becomes a part of your culture, and it takes time, say about 5 years, 10 years or more. Then your system becomes mature enough. So definitely when your system becomes mature enough, that is definitely going to reflect on your profit sheets.
Next question is, sir, what quality management effective tools can one use in a business? Example, technology.
Technology, it is a very broader question, technology, because when we say technology, the tools are endless. Every new tool is available to monitor. Every new tool is available to get to the specific result. And nowadays people are referring, or even where I am working, the top management is talking about taking into artificial intelligence as one of the tools for our businesses.
Okay. So next question is, I have noted that ISO 9001 is to 2015 will be phased out by the ISO 9001 is to 2026. What can we
Mm.
expect in terms of changes?
I think that is a repeat question, but still, again, I'll do. The major change will come with respect to 4.1, addressing the context of the organization, where how we are going to address the climate change as a impact to our business. That is the major change it will come.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is, if implementation of quality is easy, how can one avoid maintenance that as it is costly?
Maintenance, as in what kind of maintenance the candidate is referring to? May I ask?
Jacob, if you can write the question again. Mm, I think we can go to the next question. Uh,
Okay.
Rifale is asking if it is it mandatory to every company to have ISO 9001, and how do we acquire them the standards?
Okay. Standard doesn't say that every organization in this world to have ISO 9001. But yes, definitely there can be some inputs that one of your major customers or your regulatory bodies, or what you're having there, they are asking for you to go for ISO 9001 unless till the time you are not going to get any uh, new projects or new lines to work. Other than that, organization has self, they have to realize and they have to go for this standardization process. And yes, for the standards are available online, that can be procured from iso.org website. That is also available.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is how to apply from a perspective of a university. What are the benefits? Can you help us to be the ISO certified university from Nepal? How basically the participant is asking how can we apply it from a university point of view?
Yes. See, when we talk about getting the actual certification to a organization like a university, educational university, there you have to connect with the local certification bodies. Example, there is TUV Sud. Example, there is Sarmet. Example, there is Bureau Veritas. These are the few names which comes into my mind. There you can directly connect with them and ask your query. They will be having specific expertise for to certify the university education university for ISO 9001. There are also a few, what I can say, specialists in quality management systems who are into educational stream. They can also help you out. They can be locally available or maybe pan India,
Okay.
but it is possible to do.
Next is can the ISO 9001 2015 be applied to laboratory quality standards?
Again, laboratory is chemical testing or other testings kind of a thing. Yes, it is applicable, but there more often NABL certification is more relevant, or the certification which is related to the laboratories, which is much more stringent than ISO 9001, which is based on ISO 9001 only. That can also be taken or sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
What impact does the quality have on the UN's sustainability development goals, if it is relevant? SDGs.
Sustainability study, like environmental and sustainability study, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
As of now, ISO 9001 2015 doesn't say or doesn't show specify anything about that. But yes, there was an addendum in 2025, which am going to say again, that the organizations who are practicing or who are certified for ISO 9001 should address the climate change as a aspect, as a impact on their organization. So I think that point, when it will come out and in the standard, that will definitely have some guidelines how to go ahead with it. And with respect to the statutory standards what were set by the UN, that if that particular organization is coming under the scope of that UN specification, then yes, that has to be addressed.
Thank you, sir. Next question is quality management totally dependent on ISO?
ISO has created the quality management system, so there is no dependency as upon it. See, there are many more companies who are not certified for ISO 9001 or 2015, but they do follow every bit of the standard requirements which are given in ISO 9000 and 2015. So there is no dependency. It is only the cultural change what we must bring in the organization.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next is what are the common challenges organizations face during implementation and how they can be mitigated?
Okay, challenges. The first and foremost challenges is the change. So whenever there's some big changes going to come to the organization, that has to be addressed first. That people or the organization people are supposedly reluctant for such change. So as a change agent, we should be able to uh, uh, downstream, or we should be able to get to them that what are all the benefits of this system. How are we going to improve on our quality? How is it going to go ahead with? So that is our
Thank you.
foremost challenge. Second one is the documentation challenge, that whenever if there is no documentation control at all, so that is the second challenge. But it nowadays all it is online structural is there. So I think documentation part is a bit now not a challenge, but a change of people mindset is cultural change is a challenge. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next question is how often should the organization have management review?
Okay. That depends on the organization's view and organization's business strategy. How is it going? That if the management feels that the business is going really good, then the management can say that yes, we can have a management review once in 2 years. Okay. In some cases, if the business or quality management system is not as per the expectations or the targeted goals, then the management can have the stay that we can have a management review twice in a year, also, or maybe more. Standard doesn't say that it what frequency to have. It says that it should have. Frequency we have to decide based on our risks, our improvements, our strategy, our trends, our working trends.
Okay. Um, Next is can you tell me more about the internal audit, please? If internal audit is not implemented on in the workplace.
Okay, if internal audits are not implemented on the workplace, then while going forward with the certification or the annual certifying body audits, this point will come as a direct major non-conformity against the standard requirement. Because the standard requirement says that there should be a system of internal audits. And when you say that there is no system into for internal audits, and no audits have taken place. So there are two things. First is the risk of getting major non-conformity during external audit. Second thing is there is a big chance and very, very serious chance of getting a risk unidentified. And that risk, when it becomes a problem to the organization, then that will be a bigger risk than not doing the internal audits. So it is better to do internal audits always.
Thank you, sir. Next is to what extent does ISO 9001 contribute to external auditing?
External auditing, like could you please explain more about this question?
Basically,
Like the
the to
candidate is interested to do external audits, or
in
he is
what
asking about
in what way or to till what extent does ISO 9001 contributes to external auditing?
external auditing. Okay, so if I say this as a if I need to be an external auditor, then yes, if I have the experience of auditing, then this is definitely going to contribute towards my external audits. This is the first kind of thinking. Second, if we say external audits, then for the external audits, when we have in our organization, if you have ISO 9001 2015 in place and it is well and running, the external audits will give you more inputs for improvements, more inputs, because the people who come to your organization to audit, those people have traveled around the globe. They have audited n number of big or small companies, organizations. They have seen the best practices, what the other teams, other companies are doing, and when they feel that some such similar practices can be done in your organization, they are definitely going to lay that out in their auditing report. They are going to give you inputs for continual improvements, definitely.
Another question is, what tools or processes can be used to perform quality management that are sustainable, cost efficient, and environmentally friendly?
Just adhere to the standard requirements and sustain it. That itself is going to help you in sustaining your quality management system.
Thank you. Next is, how do you relate MSDS of cement to ISO 9001 standard SOP?
Okay, MSDS is material safety data sheet. That refers to your how that hazardous or non-hazardous material or chemical has to be used, stored, and moved, transported. That is being given there, and that comes into the picture when your clause number 8.5, and in clause number 7, resources, where we are talking about the places to store. There also it will come.
Thank you, sir. Next is, thank you so much for the insightful presentation. I want to be guided. How can we come up with an overall evaluation of QMS in a management review after receiving reports from different departments?
Okay. In the standard, in the standard clause number 9.2, 9.3, where the management review clause is there, there are certain bullet points related to the agenda of the management review. If you can go through that, you will have all the data with you, and that can be directly presented to the management in the management review meeting. Example, there will be any points related to the earlier MRM which are open that can be discussed. Then it comes to the any context in the change in the context. Then comes the results of the audits. Then comes the results of the monitorings. Then any changes in the resources with respect to quality management system. Like that, the agenda will flow, and with that agenda, every process will have some inputs, and that you have to gather and then present it in a certain way.
Next is, I'm working in a pharmaceutical. These are the last few questions before we proceed to
Sure,
our
sure,
courses. I'm
sure, sure.
working in a pharmaceutical company as an internal auditor. What are the ways I can use the standard to improve the SOP of the organization? And what steps should I carry out to perform audit in my organization relating to our SOP?
Okay. First, if you want to if you want to improve on your process, uh, do have a gap analysis of the process. Do a gap analysis of the process. Meaning, you can start with the incoming area where your incoming raw materials come, and what standard you have set. Take one take one example of that and start auditing at the actual what is happening there. You will find n number of gaps there, from their processing and the output. What standard you have set, what the standard says, and what actually is happening. Have a gap analysis of that. You will have n number of gaps identified, and on that you can work as an improvement. And second thing, with respect to internal audit, if you are already an internal auditor, then I don't think you have to do anything else but other to your internal audit plan. And definitely, while you're auditing a process, always look out for any points which are going towards risk to the business. Like if something is going wrong or something is going abnormal, look it in such a way that how this is going to be a risk to the business. If that is going to be risk to the business or that is going to risk to the customer, then definitely that should be highlighted as a non-conformity.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is, how can you help the Central Veterinary Laboratory in Sierra to get the ISO 2000, ISO 9001 2015 certification?
uh, did he say veterinary labs, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I think the local certification bodies will have more information about your specific requirement. And of course, ISO 9001 and 2015 can be implemented there. And the certification bodies, like I said, TUV SUIT, TUV NOD, Bureau Veritas, Summit, IRQS, n number of certification bodies are there. If you can just search it on Google or AI, you can find ample amount of information to contact them, and they will definitely reach out to you and help you out.
Next question is the ISO 9001 2015 standard still valid, or there is now a later standard?
Okay. As of now, as on this day, ISO 9001 2015 is valid. The validity will come to an end when there will be next revision standard, like someone said in between, that a new standard is going to come in 2026. Till that new standard comes, this ISO 9001 2015 standard is valid.
Can you specify 9001 2015 standards for healthcare or hospital?
I think there is one standard, not directly ISO 9001 2015, but it is based on healthcare and medical industry. There is one standard I can help you out, not as of now, because I don't have the number with me, the standard number. But yes, base standard will be ISO 9001.
Thank you. Next question is, which ISO about the infection prevention control? Which is the ISO about the infection prevention control, and how could we can control? How can we control it?
I think this question is related to medical or healthcare related industry. And
Yes.
there is also one standard, either ISO or something else that has to be added at that point of time. ISO cannot help a specific industry, but generally in the quality management system that can help up to a certain level. But as I said earlier, when we talk about healthcare or when we talk about food, when we talk about pharmaceutical, the standard set is much more stringent than it is in ISO 9001. So there will be specific standard for that. They need to adhere to that standard. This is the base. High level structure is ISO 9001. Above that, there will be a specific standard for their specific industry.
What are the professional standards that are to be applied for effective quality management system in a workplace?
I think the most beautiful standard is ISO 9001 2015, which is the base standard for all other standards to come. And if you want to have more, if the candidate who asked this question is from manufacturing industry, then specific to manufacturing industry, if it is there, if it is metal manufacturing or other kind of manufacturing, other than medical or food, then they can go for adherence to IATF 16949 2016 standard, which is automotive standard, which is more stringent than QMS, but less stringent than medical or food. That will give a robust process control and good. That will give you good. I can say uh, returns on the implementation with respect to customer complaints, quality issues, internal rejections, and so on.
Next, sir, is what is the difference between quality control and quality assurance?
Okay. Now, when we talk about quality control, that quality control activity is actually happening at the workplace where the activity is being taking place. Example, if we say, if somebody is manufacturing an X product made from A raw material, okay, so that A raw material is going to get converted into X during a machining process. Example. So after the machining process, there will be an inspector who at the output who is going to check that part with respect to its dimensions, with respect to its chemical composition, with respect to its aesthetics. That is quality control. Okay. And what the assurance, quality assurance is, we set the process of machining, we set the process of incoming inspection such that always okay product, okay to the specification product is going to come out of that process. And we are giving assurance to the next process owner or the next customer that whatever we are delivering it to you, that is with zero defects, that is good quality. That is the difference between quality assurance and quality control. Quality control is at the process, but at quality assurance we design the process such that there will be no defective parts manufactured.
Yes, sir. Last few questions, participant. How does this can be applied in the fish cannery industry?
It can be applied again. You have to look out for local certification bodies, and also look out for fish cannery, or what I can say, industry who have this ISO 9001 2015 certification. Have insights about that, and then you can go ahead with, because the process remains same. The industry changes. Requirements remain same. Industry changes.
Next question is what are the most common mistakes in ISO 9001 2015 audit that is overlooked and how it can be resolved?
Okay. Uh, Common mistake is that it is a quality department's job, and that too, now there is no place for a management representative. Earlier it was an ISO 9000. That is that man's job or that person's job to get this qualified. So that is the common mistake and understanding people have. So the how we can resolve is that it is not one man's job, it is not a one person's job. It is the whole organization's culture which comes into picture when it comes to quality management system. That has to change. And the person who is taking care of this, he or she should act as a change agent. And the audits, and with respect to the audits preparation, top management should be always in the driving seat.
Yes. Next is what are the opportunities that come with getting ISO 9001 2015 certificate in terms of job?
Uh, Terms of job, I mean, this candidate has asked this question with respect to,
Getting the certificate
could you,
quality,
getting the certificate for the organization. How is that going to help him or her to get a job, right?
right?
Okay, if he is the part of that implementing process, then definitely his key performance indicators are going to go up, because he's going to be the part of the main CFT who is going to implement that. So definitely there are good chances that his resume is going to get highlighted with this kind of implementation project.
Yes,
And
sir.
one more thing, not only implementation but also sustenance. But nowadays, because nowadays, what recruiters what the companies who are looking for such individuals or candidates, that is how we have implemented and how you have sustained it. So sustenance is much harder and much sought for role looked into, because
Yes.
implementation is easy, sustenance is hard.
Yes, sir. Next is, what is the psychology of ISO 9001?
Psychology of ISO 9001, I would say it does revolve around risk-based decision making and customer focus, and it revolves around what I can say, risks and opportunities, how we're addressing and when we're addressing, and how the top management is really serious about mitigating the risks and grabbing the opportunities. That is about that.
Thank you. Next question is, how can ISO 9001 2015 can be applied in occupational hygiene, especially in the mining industry?
Occupational hygiene. I think there is one standard based on ISO 9001 2015, which is ISO 45000 2018, OSHA standard. OHSMS now it is called, Occupational Health and Safety Management System. That can be clearly implemented and sustained in mining industry also.
In electrical panel manufacturing, what are the quality management which can be implemented?
Electrical panel management. ISO 9001 2015 is okay, but there can be other standards with where the end customer can ask you to have, or there will be some product certifications like the testing. UL is there. UL labs are there who does the testing on a broader scale or global scale. So those certifications are may also come handy for you for the product, electrical products.
Thank you, sir. The last question is, how do you promote everyone to own quality in an organization?
Okay, very interesting and very difficult question, because actually when you do it, it is very difficult to do. So to ask them to own the quality is to ask them to be a part of the quality management system. So whenever we are talking about continual improvement, like the class number 10, so always involve people who are actually working on the machines, working on the lines, working in the mining, or working on the shop floor. Involve them into your continual improvement process. Always take one or two members in your continual improvement projects, because these people will give you the first hand information of what a- exactly is happening at the shop floor at that moment. What are the failures? They will be able to tell you exactly. So that is the only way to get them accountable for quality.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, this is the last question before I will be sharing my screen. So, breakdown
Yes.
structure that can be applied in ISO 9001 2015.
Breakdown structure means machine breakdown structure uh, is correct.
Yes. Breakdown structure that can be applied in ISO 9001 2015.
I didn't understand this question. If it is more specific to the process, then I can tell something more. Definitely more. This question sometimes I think it is
Not framed.
um, not framed properly, that I can understand. Yeah.
Another question is, how can ISO 9001 2015 can be useful in aviation sector?
Aviation sector. Yes, definitely it can be, because see, aviation sector does have their own quality management system standard called Aerospace and Defense, ASD, AS 91,000 2016 D. D is the version, and it is based on ISO 9001 2015 standard. So there is a standard for them for aviation.
Thank you so much, sir. And with this, I will be sharing my screen. with the participants. We will be
Okay,
talking about the UniThina program.
sure. I'll be stopping my screen share. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful insights. Thank you, dear participants. I will now be talking about Uni Athena. A brief about Uni Athena. We are flexible, affordable, and accessible. Uh, we come with suite of online, self-paced, and flexible education programs. So you can join over 5 million global upskillers. So a brief about Uni Athena. Uni Athena is an edtech organization which is offering free online upskilling courses and affordable academic degree programs in a flexible manner. Founded in 2019, Uni Athena is owned by Westford Ventures, generally known as Westford Education Group, operating since 2008 in higher education sector. Here right now, which you can see on your screen on the screen, are our partners and accreditations. We are associated with renowned universities across the globe. Why Uni Athena? Because number one, we are 100% online. You will get video tutorials, reading materials, everything is available online. There is payment that fits your pace. You can pay per course. Pay per course module is there with the flexible plan for choosing the fast track plan and pay monthly. Next, we are self-paced. The duration of the course is flexible. You can learn at your own pace. Next is we are accredited, globally accepted and accredited partners we have, which I've already shown you in the previous slide. Also, you get personal tutor or academic associate with aligned to you who will help you in completing your course. Next is the modular course delivery. The courses are delivered with modules, with you focusing on one module at a time. So if you are looking for a career in quality management, we have something for you. The journey ahead, we have a 90 ECTS MBA in quality management. The certifications include MBA in quality management, postgraduate diploma in quality management, and certified project management professional. This is being awarded by Ministry of Education Italy, and the mode of learning is online. I have already shared the links in the chat windows. You can go to the courses and go for a 7-day free trial. Apart from that, we have postgraduate certificate in total quality management, which has a flexible duration of 21 to 60 days. Again, the mode of learning will be online, and you can all go for a 7 days free trial as well. I have already shared the link with you regarding the same. Here we have the student testimonials, the ones who have completed the course with us. So this is it. And in case you have any queries, you can write to Fatima at uniathena.com, or you can alternatively write to admissions@uniathena.com, and you can contact us through the number which is mentioned on the right hand side of the screen. So with this, if you have any questions, you can let me know, or you can write to the admissions@uniathena.com, and any questions you can let us know. So thank you. Yes, any questions for us? You can get the link you can get the link in the I've already shared the link. I can share the link in the question answer box with you again, so you can log in to the same. I'm sharing the link in the chat box. The slides we have already shared. Anybody who's asking for the slides, the live YouTube the session has been done. So, in case you are interested, or if in case you want to know more about the course fee and content, you can write to us at admissions@uniathena.com. We would be happy to help you with the same. I have already shared the link. I am sharing the link once again. Any questions you have, you can write to me. Or you can write us at uniathena.com. Admissions@uniathena.com. Our certificates are recognized and globally approved. So with this, I would like to thank you for the participation, and I would like to end the webinar. And thank you so much, Anand sir, and thank you to
Thank
all the
you.
participants.
Thank you, and hope you have enjoyed the webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Yeah,
for
thank
giving
you,
me the
sir,
opportunity. Thank you.
and a big thank you to all the participants.